If you've ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there, or stared at a textbook page only to realize nothing actually stuck, you're not alone. Our brains are constantly overloaded with information, and most of it just slips away. But here's the truth: memory isn't just a fixed ability you're born with. It's like a muscle. And with the right techniques, you can strengthen it to the point where people wonder how you remember so much. I know, because I used to be terrible at remembering names, dates, and even simple to-do lists. It made me feel unreliable. But once I started experimenting with memory techniques, some backed by science, others ancient tricks, I noticed a massive difference. Suddenly, remembering became less about trying harder and more about using my brain smarter. The first thing you need to understand is this: memory works best when it's connected to meaning and imagination. If you try to force raw facts into your head, they'll bounce right out. But when you turn those facts into vivid pictures, stories, or patterns, they stick like glue. Think about it: why can you remember every line of a song you heard years ago, but forget what you studied last week? It's because the song has rhythm, emotion, and repetition, three elements your brain loves. So in this journey, I'm going to share powerful, practical tricks you can use to build a recall system so sharp, people will think you have superhuman memory. These aren't complicated or time-consuming. In fact, most of them are fun, almost like games. Ready? Let's dive in and start unlocking a memory you didn't even know you had. One of the most effective memory hacks ever discovered is called the Memory Palace. It sounds fancy, but it's really simple. Imagine a place you know well: your home, your school, or even your favorite coffee shop. Now, instead of trying to memorize random information, you store each fact in a specific location inside that mental space. For example, let's say you need to remember a grocery list: milk, eggs, and bread. In your memory palace, you might picture a giant milk carton spilling all over your couch, eggs rolling down your hallway like little bowling balls, and a loaf of bread sitting on your bed like a pillow. The weirder the image, the stronger it sticks. Later, when you mentally walk through your palace, those bizarre pictures remind you of exactly what you need. This technique isn't new. It goes back to ancient Greece and Rome, where orators would use memory palaces to deliver hours-long speeches without notes. And it still works today, whether you're studying for an exam, preparing a presentation, or just trying to remember your errands. But here's the key: the images have to be visual, emotional, and unusual. Your brain is wired to forget the ordinary, but it can't resist the ridiculous. That's why remembering milk on the couch is easier than just repeating milk, milk, milk. Try this right now with something simple, maybe your to-do list for tomorrow. Place each task in a spot around your room. See it in your mind, exaggerate it, and then try recalling the list after a few minutes. You'll be surprised how quickly it works. This is just the beginning. Once you master linking information to images and spaces, you'll realize how limitless your recall can become. Another powerful trick to supercharge your memory is chunking. Instead of trying to remember long strings of information, you group them into smaller, meaningful parts. Think about how we naturally remember phone numbers. Instead of 10 random digits, we see them as 3 groups, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. The brain loves patterns, and chunking helps us find them. You can apply chunking to almost anything. If you're learning a new language, instead of memorizing 20 random words, try grouping them into categories like food, travel, or feelings. When studying history, don't memorize endless dates, link them into timelines or themes. This makes recall smoother because your brain doesn't feel overwhelmed with raw data. It sees organized blocks of meaning. A related technique is association, connecting new information to something you already know. For example, if you meet someone named Rose, picture an actual rose growing out of their hair. If your new coworker is named John, imagine him sitting on a toilet. Yes, a John. The sillier the connection, the easier it is to lock their name in your memory. You can even combine chunking and association. Let's say you're learning the planets in order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Instead of repeating them in a dull list, chunk them into pairs and create a funny story. Mercury and Venus go on a date. Earth and Mars fight over pizza. Jupiter and Saturn throw a party. Uranus and Neptune are late to the party because they got lost. Suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes sticky and unforgettable. These tricks aren't just for students, they work in daily life too. Whether you're remembering names at a party, details for a meeting, or even passwords, chunking and association can make your recall sharper than ever. Another underrated but extremely effective tool is the memory palace technique, also called the method of loci. This strategy has been used by ancient Greek philosophers, Roman senators, and modern memory champions. The idea is simple: your brain is great at remembering places, so you use a familiar location, like your home, and place information inside it. Here's how it works. Imagine walking through your house. In your living room, you might picture a giant apple on the sofa. In the kitchen, a fish is swimming in the sink. In your bedroom, a pile of books is stacked on the bed. Each object represents something you want to remember. When you need to recall the list later, you mentally walk through your house and pick up the information item by item. The reason this works so well is because our brains evolved to navigate spaces. We're naturally good at remembering landmarks, routes, and environments, so when we tie abstract information to physical places, it suddenly sticks like glue. This trick can help with studying, presentations, or even grocery shopping. If you need to give a speech without notes, imagine each main point sitting in a room of your house. When you get on stage, all you have to do is walk through your memory palace, and the ideas will flow out. What makes this method even more powerful is combining it with vivid, exaggerated imagery. Don't just imagine a fish in your sink, picture it flopping, splashing water, maybe even singing a song. The more unusual the image, the harder it is for your brain to forget. A memory palace is like building a secret storage system in your mind. Once you practice it a few times, you'll be amazed at how much more you can hold in your head without effort. Now, all these techniques are powerful on their own, but the real magic happens when you combine them with consistency and lifestyle changes. Your brain, just like your body, responds to daily training. Think of it like the gym. You don't get stronger by lifting weights once, you get stronger by showing up every day. That's why the most important trick isn't just a hack, it's making memory training a habit. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes each day to practice visualization, mnemonics, or your memory palace. Use flashcards, test yourself, and challenge your recall. Over time, your brain adapts, creating stronger connections that make remembering second nature. But don't forget about the lifestyle factors that supercharge memory. Sleep. Most memory consolidation happens during deep sleep. If you're cutting sleep short, you're cutting memory short. Nutrition. Foods rich in omega-3s, antioxidants, and vitamins, like salmon, blueberries, and nuts, actually boost brain performance. Exercise. Physical movement increases blood flow to the brain, sharpening both focus and recall. Stress management. Chronic stress weakens memory. Practices like meditation or journaling help clear mental clutter. When you combine brain training with healthy living, recall becomes effortless. Imagine walking into a meeting and remembering every detail without notes, or studying for an exam and recalling facts as if you're flipping through a mental textbook. That's not superhuman, it's the natural potential of your mind when trained correctly. So, start small. Build 1 or 2 memory tricks into your daily routine. Stick with it. Over time, your recall will grow so sharp it will surprise not only you but also everyone around you. Because a strong memory isn't just about remembering facts, it's about unlocking the strongest version of your mind.